People ask what the church is, if not people in pews or buildings. Flesh is confused because the church is not a physical thing. We cannot see the church in the way we see a house or car. But what does it mean for something to be spiritual other than invisible? The church is not a club nor a lecture hall. The church does not permit us to wield authority over our kind. We are under God. Traditional churches are for immature Christian. The Apriorian house church is a meritocracy, a community of mature Christians able and willing to put on the whole armor of God. The flesh creates problems. There are no solutions to the problems of the flesh than a house church. This is a community of mature faithful. House churches are lights to the world, or what empiricism calls test groups. There is a war, but it is a war of truth versus evil. The ways of the flesh are based on emotion. The church is founded on truth because what is true can be verified. The church is created to fight lies. Evil destroys truth. The lies of Satan destroy truth using emotion. The believer must never compromise the truth or negotiate a settlement that compromises the truth. Test groups are formed from people of faith. Faith is demonstrated by works of faith that manifest merit. A work of faith is defined at the outset by the capital invested in the church. Investments are administered by the church, which is constructed as a limited council. The church sells bonds to raise capital needed to do works of faith, according to the defined mission of the church. Bonds can be cashed in for preferred shares. Preferred shares, contracted to prefers, designated by the symbol, are used as a unit of account by the limited council. The church is a test of faith. The church is defined by the value of the assets held in common. A person of faith is able to divest themselves of everything not needed for personal use. House churches range in size from 3 to 15 members, with one member serving as chairperson. After reaching maximized size, it divides into specialized cells. The goal of the house church is to increase the level of specialization to increase the works of faith. The chairpersons of the local councils form a council to oversee the common interest of the house churches and elect a chairperson. The chairpersons of the lower councils form the council of the higher administrative level. When the number of these councils exceed 12 to 15 in number, the chairs create a supervisory administrative level. Limited councils administrate the occupational sectors. The limited councils of all sectors are administrated by general councils. Limited councils are 12 levels high and general councils are 12 sectors wide. Limited councils are horizontally part of a general council, and each general council is vertically constructed from limited councils. Each council is headed by a chairperson. The chairs of the lower councils form the members of the next higher level council. The Apriorian house church is fractal and modular in how it is constructed and how it operates. The church is administrated in keeping with the principle of subsidiarity. Goods and services are priced according to the labor theory of value. Each of the 12 sectors governed by limited councils represents a different occupation, example, the construction sector, the health and welfare sector, the educational sector, and so on. A limited council administrates each occupational sector. A general council deals with intersectional issues specific to a political jurisdiction. Economic development and the transfer of resources between sectors are examples of things a general council would adjudicate. All work is paid for, as there is no free labor. Even students and housewives are paid a living wage. If the work adds value, it is paid for. If a behavior creates social costs, penalties are adjudicated according to the process outlined in Matthew 18. Prefers are used to pay for goods and services. Prefers never inflate or lose value. Individuals buy consumer goods and services, councils purchase infrastructure. A national council purchases roads and other infrastructure projects at the national level. State or provincial councils purchase infrastructure for a state or province. Neighborhoods, cities and regions all have their councils, and these purchase infrastructure from the sectors as needed, using prefers as the unit of account. When a purchase is made, the seller's account is credited, and the buyer's account is debited. In this way all expenses and income is tracked and accounted for. The Apriorian house church is established in accordance with 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 7, 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, Ephesians 6 verse 12,